At the time of editing this video, the latest daily report on the progress in the Transat Jacques Varb was for November 1st. The storm is about to hit Europe, whilst the Ultim leaders are sailing near Madera, at about 6 knots. The rest of the fleet is tucked up in Lorient and Le Harv, awaiting the weather bomb.
You might have imagined the giant super-fast Ultim speeding towards Martinique on the third day of the race. But reality proved different. After the third night, everything's changed. Maximum speed, 5 to 6 knots. It's beautiful, but not very effective. On the approach to Madera last night, the maxi trimarans were caught in a windless zone, and the gap between them began to close. Not far ahead, we're starting to see the two leaders. We've got to catch up with them. That's our goal for the night. The conditions are allowing the sailors to make repairs, like Anthony Marchand aboard Actual. A quick trip up the mast for repairs. We're not at the very top, fortunately, because things are moving around quite a bit, even though there's no wind. The view is beautiful, and we can see Sodebo, a small dot down there. There's a lot of rocking, so I'm not going to show you too much, as you won't be able to see very well with a GoPro. It's lovely from here. In the afternoon rankings, Banque Populaire 11 was leading the way. We've got to make it south and finally get under this zone of high pressure. The flag's a bit symbolic of the conditions of the last few days. As Thomas Rouxel says, it's like chalk and cheese. Yesterday at this time, we were with 2 reefs upwind in heavy seas. I prefer it when it's a little less calm. The wind should return overnight and the Ultims to the speeds we expect from them.
This is your weekly global sailing highlights show, The World on Water, November 3rd, 2023. Offshore races are long and gruelling, yet frequently decided by fine margins and minute details. The 44th edition of the Rolex Middle Sea Race demonstrated this in crystal clarity, as 2 contrasting yachts and crews produced awe-inspiring performances in a memorable contest for the coveted title of overall victory. Leopard 3 would ultimately claim line honours as fastest monohull. Bullitt was second across the finish line in Malta a little under 2 hours later, assuming leadership on corrected time.
A race of fine margins and relentless sailing. The 2023 Rolex Middle Sea Race. Constant changes in conditions and geography are synonymous with the Rolex Middle Sea Race. Early in this year's contest, the front-runners who exited the Messina Strait in good breeze gained a decisive advantage. Leopard 3 led in the quest for monohull line honours. A relentless Bullitt remained in close contact. Pursuers battled in upwind conditions that tested resolve and skill. First to complete the 606 nautical mile course and arrive back in Malta was the fastest multi-hull, Limosa, followed by Leopard, the first monohull. Out on the course, the predominantly Corinthian fleet focused on confronting the demands of the race. Amongst them, Red Ruby, an American double-handed entry, produced an heroic performance to finish just 24 seconds from the corrected time posted by overall winner Bullitt, confirmed at Royal Malta Yacht Club's prize giving.
The Rolex Middle Sea Race is by far one of the most epic races in the world. Winning a corrected time is an achievement of a lifetime, and I'm extremely happy.
The 44th edition of the Rolex Middle Sea Race offered another demonstration of the allure of this unique event.
We are sailing only media. Please subscribe, share, like, and check the alerts bell. There's been a lot of talk about the weather bomb, which is hitting England and France. The Canadian Weather Channel has released an excellent report on the huge weather event.
Well, it's been less than 2 weeks since the powerful storm Bullitt wreaked havoc across the UK, and now by Thursday, another strong storm is on a collision course with the UK, Ireland, and France. Now, the European meteorological offices have named this storm Kieran, forecasted to become a massive weather bomb by Wednesday night. And not only Kieran, but a second strong storm that brought snow and strong winds to Atlantic Canada is making its way across the Atlantic due to some Canadian weather ingredients. Now, the first ingredient is that the jet stream is so strong that airplanes are flying with incredible speed across the Atlantic, but it's bringing a ton of energy from Canada over to Europe. Now, take a look at this. Some airplanes are going over Atlantic Canada with ground speeds over 1,000 kilometers per hour. That's 200 kilometers per hour over normal speed. And the second ingredient is that low pressure system is going to travel the Atlantic, and the jet stream is going to inject energy into this system, allowing explosive development. Now, this is going to bring violent winds to expected later Wednesday into Thursday. Wind warnings have been issued across southern UK, where we could see winds up to 130 kilometers per hour, as well as along northeastern France, where we could see gusts up to 140 kilometers, with coastal regions exposed areas seeing 170 kilometers per hour, and we could see rain up to 60 millimeters of rainfall.
This is the daily Transat Jacques Varb for a few days ago, October 30th, as the Ocean 50s and the Class 40s finished the first leg of their race in Lorient. Meanwhile, the huge Ultims have left the scene of the pending weather bomb, heading for Brazil and then to the finish in Martinique.
Leaving Le Harv yesterday, the Ocean 50 trimarans quickly made their way to Lorient in brisk conditions. This morning, Thibaut Vauchel-Camus and Quentin Vlamink won the first leg of the race. I'm glad to have got a bit of a head start for the rest of the race. Le Rire Médecin and Primonial completed the podium. The 6 Ocean 50s are all safely in port in Lorient now, awaiting the next departure for Martinique. Meanwhile, off the French coast, the Ultims are blasting their way straight to the Caribbean. In the 5 p.m. rankings, SVR L'Azétique was leading 24 nautical miles ahead of the Maxi Banque Populaire. In the Class 40s, it's been a turbulent night with a dismasting and a forced pit stop. The hull was beginning to fold in two and open up, so there was a real risk of water getting in and endangering us and the boat. You can see that a lot of foam has gone. We think it must have taken a big hit. We're very disappointed. Now to the rocks near the coast of Finistère. There's less current here. Sure, that's why we're here, but you shouldn't have told them. At 5 p.m, the Franco-Italian duo on Alla Grande Pirelli led the fleet. The leg should finish around midnight tonight.
Pip Hare, skipper of the Imoca Medallia, explains the weather delay to the Transat Jacques Varb race start and welcomes friends and family on board.
So today we were going to sail all the way around here and past there, and then we were going to go south to Cape Finisterre. But there's a really big storm coming, and they think we're going to arrive there. Yeah. But the problem is that when we arrive on that coast, the waves pile up and get really, really big. And so they were worried that the waves were going to be too big for us to be able to get past that window.
Could you just go like a wide round it?
Well, so the Ultims, which are super fast, they're all going to go a long way to the west and then go down, and so they get round it. But we're not fast enough to get out that way fast enough.
I can't see.
So we're kind of going to be trapped there.
What are the
So
40s going to do?
the 40s are all going to Lorient because they realised yesterday that they weren't fast enough. So they're starting today and go to Lorient. But there's nowhere for us to go now because Lorient's full.
It's a big day for Sun Hung Kai Scalawag 100, with the rig and boom now in. The team worked through a cold, grey, gusty and wet Sydney spring day down at White Bay 6 Marine Park to successfully manoeuvre the rig and boom into position. Built by Southern Spars in Auckland in 6 months, the rig is much bigger and lighter than the previous one. It is 143 feet high, 500 kilos lighter than the old one. It weighs 1,450 kilos. The maximum spreader length is 2.9 meters. The maximum tube mast section is 525 millimeters by 270. The compression force through the mast is up to 88,000 kilos, and there was 1,000 kilos of pre-preg carbon fiber used in the build. We are looking forward to seeing the boat in action. Lithuania wins the second RS Aero Team race. Under-22 European Championship, Italy won, with Saar Muru and Davide Mullers, second after a fierce final, lost 3-2. Bronze to Sardinia 2 with Alice Susarello in team with Andrea de Matthijs, and fourth place to Estonia 1. Luna Ross's helmsman Checo Bruni has seen it all in the world of sailing. Now he has his sights set on bringing the America's Cup to Italy. And his dream is of leaving his legacy and knowledge to the next generations of sailors.
Io sono sempre stato convinto che nella vita è importantissimo seguire i propri sogni. Adesso il sogno non è più quello di timonare la barca di Coppa America, ma di vincere con una barca italiana la Coppa America. Sono Francesco Bruni, soprannominato Checco, uno dei timonieri di Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Si è accorciato un po' troppo, vedi l'ho scucito adesso.
Sono stato spesso definito una persona un po' eclettica e soprattutto in carriera ho ricoperto tantissimi ruoli in tantissime situazioni diverse. Ho fatto tante classi olimpiche su barche diverse, ho vissuto esperienze nel mondo della vela a 360 gradi.
The shorter it is, the more we can maybe do a day where we don't put the boat in the water if it's a maybe, and we wait for the conditions to be acceptable and more promising, because if we have to plan it a lot in advance and it's a 3-hour thing, we will put it in the water, wait for the wind and then take it out like it happened the other day. Obviously 3 hours is an extreme, but if we shrink that time.
No, la prima volta che ero in barca a vela ero molto piccolo e mi è stato detto che ero con mio papà su un laser a Palermo e lui mi ha portato in giro. La passione per la vela ce l'ha anche lui anche mia madre, è una cosa che viene un po' da entrambe le famiglie, mi è stata tramandata fin da quando ero piccolo, ma diciamo, mi è piaciuto da subito. Beh, in carriera ho avuto tantissime figure che sono state d'esempio per me, dei punti di riferimento che mi hanno insegnato tanto. Iniziamo con tutti gli allenatori che ho avuto fin da piccolo, primo tra tutti mio padre, che mi ha insegnato tantissimo. E non per ultimo Jimmy Spitil, cioè Jimmy mi ha insegnato tantissimo, continua a insegnarmi tanto. Il mio sogno è anche quello di insegnare qualcosa a qualcuno e spero in futuro, anche adesso, di riuscire a farlo. Ma sì, Luna Rossa è ormai è quasi una famiglia per tutti, soprattutto per chi come me è con Luna Rossa da diverse campagne di coppa.
Smagrisce un po' randa e ingrassa un po' di più il fiocco se puoi.
Portare avanti il sogno per l'Italia con la bandiera italiana dietro le spalle è un'altra cosa.
Ok guys, we're ready to test.
E anche davanti a tante difficoltà, insomma, è importante non mollare e seguire sempre quel sogno.
Abbiamo modo alto, ragazzi. Siamo virati, altro 5%. Ok, prendo un po' ancora di velocità. Ok, quando vuoi, Gillo.
Emirates Team New Zealand's intense 4-month sailing block in Barcelona has wound up with the America's Cup winning boat Te Rehutai signing off its scheduled sailing and testing program for the 37th America's Cup. Skipper Peter Burling gives his take on their time in Spain.
You know, never say never, but it'll probably be the last time we ever sail Te Rehutai. It's been an amazing tool for us this campaign to help see some things in full scale, and the last couple of days we've found things incredibly challenging on board, but really enjoyed the time out sailing there and trying to figure out how to actually get around the course on those kind of sea states.
Te Rehutai, she's been amazing to us, really put her through the paces in the last couple of days, that's for sure. A couple of years ago people wouldn't have thought it was doable in foiling boats, and now we're sailing around in 2 metre swell and dealing with it. It's really, really awesome.
Mixed emotions. The last 2 days have been unbelievably epic, actually. Good conditions to push us as a crew. Te Rehutai stood up to the challenge once again. Obviously, she was an amazing boat for us in the last America's Cup, and the team's stepped on a long way since the last campaign already, so it's an exciting year we've got ahead of us.
Our sailing block's come to an end here in Barcelona before we start sailing again next year here. We'll leave the boat here in Barcelona, you never know. It has been an absolute workhorse for us. Still a great boat. Had some great sailing on that boat, some great results, but you know, it's time to move on.
She's now done so many more sailing days beyond what our expectations were, and given us such an amazing platform to build on for our boat 3 design. In our campaign, it's a critical point. We're going to get excited about our new boat and see where that takes us.